So it's another work day, and there was something that kind of crossed my mind that I wanted to talk about. Got off another call or another two calls today. Went pretty well, but just something that kind of crossed my mind, and especially because when I first started out, I was told this is something that's very important that I do. But for me, when I've been running my business and have been getting on these calls, it's been the complete opposite for me. So I kind of wanted to talk on it. And it's the fact that on sales calls, I very rarely um, sign the client on the sales call, the first sales call that I get them on. So what I mean by that is very rarely do I actually send them the invoice, the contract on the call, and they just sign it and pay for it while I'm with them on the call. Um, and then like just everything done the same day. Very rarely does that ever happen. I've had it happened a couple times, but I've had hundreds of sales calls so far, and I can probably count on my fingers how many times that's happened. So I think that's something that I wanted to kind of note because when I was first starting out and when I was listening to these people, um, talking about the sales call, every single time or every single person was telling me that you need to make sure that you sign the client um, on the sales call. So make sure like they don't leave before like you get the payment from you get paid from the client. And that's what I was told. That's what I was because I was told that if you don't, they're gonna leave or they're gonna they're not gonna get back to you, whatever. And so I had the mindset of just I need to sign every single client on that first sales call. But what I realized is a lot of the times, um, I don't know really I don't really know how to explain it, but the client doesn't. I felt that I didn't really want to pressure the client into just signing right away. Like for me, I really wanted to make sure that the client was comfortable enough to pay for my services. I was a relatively new obviously I was a relatively new freelancer when starting out, so there wasn't a lot of trust. And for someone like me to just go sign with me now on the very first day that we talk, I don't know, something about that just felt off. It felt like it felt a little ingenuine. It felt like I was only in it to kind of take their money, which I guess in a way I was, but I also wanted to provide value, and I wanted to make sure that the client was also getting something out of it as well. And I didn't want to be that guy who just, I'm only here to take your money. I don't care about anything else. I don't care about how the client, how you feel, or I just want your money. That I didn't want to kind of portray that message. So a lot of the times I just let clients get off the call. And then again, it kind of goes back to my previous message to where it's like, if they don't sign with me or if they don't get back to me, that's perfectly fine. I'll just move on to the next. And like I'll do follow-ups. So I do recommend that you do, you send follow-up messages and things like that. That's perfectly fine. But kind of constantly just hammering on the client on the call and making sure like it's your mission to make sure that they pay on that first sales call. I don't know. Maybe this is the wrong way to approach it, but for me, um, I just didn't want to be that guy. Like I knew that if I was getting on a call with somebody and I can feel that they're trying to get me to sign that invoice or pay that invoice, um, like and I can sense it, then I would get turned off. So that I didn't. I wanted to take like a different approach. I just try. So for now, for my sales calls, I just try to provide as much value as I can on the sales call. I make things very clear. These are my prices. These are what I can do for you. Um, if I have any guarantees, these are my guarantees. I make sure I listen to them, what their problems are, um, on the call, and then kind of tell them how I can solve their problems or help them in their business, and then kind of provide that offer. And then I make my prices relatively clear. And then from there, majority of the time, I tell the client to just to kind of soak that in, and then get back to me whenever you're comfortable. If you'd like, I'll send you a proper proposal with like everything that we discuss on the call. I'll just write it up in some sort of PDF template, and then you can have that. You can take a look at it, and then whenever you like, you can just reach out back to me, get back to me, and then we can get started from there. So very rarely do I sign people on the call. I don't really go, here's the invoice, and I just wait on the call um, until they sign it, and try everything to, get them to sign it. And I did that. I did that in the very beginning, where clients would tell me like, "Oh, I'll think about it," or "I'll discuss this with my partner," um, or like, "I have other sales calls with other freelancers. I'll do that first, and then I'll get back to you." And I was told, if in those cases, to just like kind of hammer it in and make sure that the client has every reason to not, get off the call without paying you or without signing that contract. And maybe that works, but I don't know, something about that was just, it just didn't sit right with me. I just knew that if I felt that someone was doing that to me, I would just be turned off, and I would just be like, no, like I don't want to work with somebody who's just trying to get me to sign this contract and not giving me any sort of breathing room to, think about this decision. Because to some people, to some clients, this is a big decision for them. This is something that they're not used to doing. This is something that's completely new to them. So I think it's only right that you give the client the time to, I guess, think about it. I've had people reach out back to me in weeks, months, saying, I just got an email a couple months ago, or not a couple months ago, a couple days ago, from a client that I was messaging months for months, and just a couple days ago I signed. They wanted to get started, and I signed with them, and they told me like, "Oh, I really appreciate you not, pressuring me, not hammering me with these follow-up messages like these other people do. For me, this was a really big decision, and it was something that I was uncomfortable with doing, but you made me feel comfortable, which is why I went with you." And it took months to sign the client, but at the end of the day, I did sign the client because I wasn't constantly hammering them, I guess. So I don't know, maybe this works. This might work for you, maybe this won't. But for me, this is the thing that I do. I don't like to pressure my clients, and I don't like to go into a call with the mindset of I need to make sure that I sign the client on this call. It's just, my mindset is just go into the call with an open mind, um, with the thought of, I'm going to listen to the problems that the client has, and I'm going to try to pitch as much value as I can to that client to make sure that those problems are alleviated as much as possible. I'm going to market my services and how I can help alleviate those problems. I'm going to make things clear, short, to the point. I'm going to give my prices. I'm going to stay firm on my prices, and then that's it. The rest is on the client. So that's pretty much my mindset. And yeah, that's pretty much something that I wanted to talk about, because I don't know, it just kind of popped into my mind. Something that a lot of people will tell you to do is to just make sure you sign that client on that call. But I don't know. I don't think that's something that you have to do per se. Again, like I said, I've been on hundreds of calls. I have over 20 clients that I'm working with on a consistent basis now. And probably one or two of them have been where I signed them on the call, or like they paid for it, you know, on that call. A lot of the times it was just, here's the contract, here's the invoice, here's the proposal. I'll give you the time to think on it, talk to your people, whatever you got to do. If you have any questions, reach out back to me. I'm always available. But here's everything, you know, the ball's in your court. Whenever you're ready, just feel free to reach out back to me. And then they do. And yeah, I think it also develops like a good, you know, relationship from the get go. It's like they know that I'm not the type of person to just, I need your money now. You know, it's, I'm the type of guy to just, you know, I want what's best for you. I'm willing to communicate. I'm always open, honest. Um, and yeah, I think that's a healthy way to go about it. But I'm not sure. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Again, I'm still learning things every day. But yeah, those are just my thoughts.